Hello! YouTube. I'm making a video. It's been a long time. And I'm here alone without Dan. It's also been a long time since I've made a video without him. So thank you guys for being patient with me. I know quite a lot of you love him like I do. Maybe not exactly like I do, but I know a lot of you probably miss just me talking about some of the topics I used to talk about. So yeah, where to start? So I guess I'll start with where I'm currently at. I think this is just going to be a general update of where I am at right now. So I'm married now, which is weird to say, and I'm trying to get used to saying my husband, right? So those of you that don't know, we got married on April 1st, April Fool's Day. We had a surprise wedding. We invited our friends and family to our engagement / moving party, and we surprised them with a wedding. So went great. We made a video talking about what we had planned, and we had pre-filmed the video, and we uploaded it that night. And so I haven't made one since then. He and I haven't made one talking about that it went off without a hitch. It was great. So everybody was surprised and lots of happy tears. And I mean, we kind of explained in that video our plan, and it really just went as planned. We had a PA system set up, and so a little over halfway into it, it was at a pizza parlor, and we reserved the big front room, and it has this beautiful fireplace. And I got there early, and my friend Katie, I had asked her if she would bring balloons, because you can't really decorate too much at this place, but you can do balloons. And so she did a beautiful job, put balloons on the backs of the chairs. She got there before me. I got there next, and so quickly, before anybody else got there, I said, can you help me move the tables around? I kind of want an aisleway because we're going to take pictures in front of the fireplace. And she said, sure. So we moved the tables around, and and her boyfriend Dan was there. And then Dan's grandma came, Dan's mom came, Dan came. So, you know, Dan and I, of course, are in on this. And so we're whispering, like, how you feeling? How's it going? And then people came in and ordered pizza and sat down. And Dan kept saying, we got to do it now. We got to do it now. And I said, you know, we've still got people in line ordering pizza, so we have to wait a little bit just until everybody's seated So finally it was time, and we both were like, okay, let's do this. So we went up to the PA system and we said, okay, everybody, we want to thank you for coming, and we have a little surprise for you. So if you could please stay seated, and we'll be out in a few minutes. So I had went up to my sister-in-law and her cousin, and I said, hey, meet me in the bathroom. And they're like, why? And I'm like, meet me in the bathroom. So they were in the bathroom waiting. Dan and I ran outside. I had parked just outside the door, and we got our garment bags out of the trunk. And then the photographer kind of stopped us and said, oh, also we had a husband and wife couple photographers there. And I said, well, they're friends of ours and they want to take pictures, so they're going to be around. And later on, a couple people kind of said, well, it was weird that there were photographers there. And my mom was like, oh, Jenny loves getting her picture taken. I'm not surprised at all, which is true. And everybody that knows me knows that. So it's just funny. Anyway, so the photographer stopped us and said, hey, your mom's in the bathroom. Hold on. So my mom gets out of the bathroom, and then the photographer has us come in, and we change really fast. And I walk in with this giant garment bag, and my sister-in-law was like, Jenny? And I'm like, hurry, you have to help me put this dress on. So she did, and her cousin was kind of watching the door, and then they swapped, and we peek out, and Daniel peeks out of the bathroom there. So we're like, okay, we're gonna do it. So there's a wall, so we kind of walk out together in the wall. Sorry, my heat pump just kicked on. So we walk out, and then he walks out to the middle of the aisleway around the corner, and we didn't know how people would react. So people saw him in his tux and they started kind of cheering. And then he did such a good job. He's like, okay, everybody, we have an announcement. If you could please rise, you're now guests at our wedding. And then you hear kind of the gasp. And then I came around the corner and then everyone just started bawling, like happy tears. And it was such a beautiful moment, and it was overwhelming, and it kind of like caught me a little bit. And so he went up to the fireplace. Our friend Caitlin is an officiant, and so she was in on it. And we had asked her if she would do this, and she got really excited. And she kept the secret, didn't tell anybody. She's my sister-in-law's cousin, and so she popped right up and got up there too. And my brother was kind of sitting over here, and he didn't really understand what was going on. I mean, I think it took people off guard and kind of stunned people. So I'm waving him up like, hey, come up here. And he had been on his phone. He's like, huh? And I'm like, come up here. And he's like, what? And then I'm like, come up here. I need you right now. So his wife was like, get up there. You got to walk her down the aisle. And I talked to him after, and he said at that point he kind of put two and two together. But he was thinking it was more like a dress rehearsal. And so he wasn't really getting it. And I put him on the spot. I get it, you know. So he kind of quickly walked me up the aisle, and we did it. So it was amazing. Afterwards, we got on the PA and we said, well, there's a couple things we want to say. Number one, we really did just get married. This was not a joke. On April Fool's Day, we really got married. The joke is that it was an engagement party. Number two, we are not expecting, but we want to work on it. Number three, none of you guys knew. So don't look at each other like, oh, I think you knew, because none of you knew. And so it was great. I mean, not only is it a great surprise and beautiful moment for us, but for our families too. And it's a great story. And his grandma came up to me after and she said, you should have told me I have connections in the news. This is newsworthy. We could have had the news here. And I said, well, we didn't want to tell anybody. That's the whole thing is we didn't want to tell one person and then the other person find out and be upset and hurt. So that's why we did it how we did it. So yeah, it was great. We were exhausted and pretty much closed the place down and then came home and fell asleep. I got on the couch and started uploading the video that we had pre-filmed. And well, first we got out of our wedding clothes, and then Dan laid on my lap and just passed right out. So we aren't going to take a honeymoon right now. We can't really take time off from work. So, well, he can't. I actually am taking a little bit of time off for moving, but so probably after the first of the year. And yeah. It was great. It was really great. So where else am I? We're moving to the Portland area. Daniel got a job there in January. So we've been living apart, but thankfully able to see each other on the weekends. And I'll be moving there. My employer has an office in that area. So I'll be transferring there, which is great. It's an awesome opportunity. And we found a place, and my first day at the new office is May 2nd, and today is April 14th. So today starts my time off. So I have a couple weeks off. And we've started packing up. There's still, I don't know, we're just under probably halfway packed up. And again, it's been really hard being that Dan's only here on the weekends. I've been trying to do it a lot myself. And we're going to work on it more this weekend. Today's Thursday, so he'll be here on Saturday. And yeah, I'm excited. I haven't lived in another city. Well, I've been living in the same area my whole life. So this is moving about 2 hours away. So I'm excited. And we knew about this move before my dad died. And that was hard, knowing that I would be moving away from him because he'd been having some medical problems. But after he died, not that it gets easier, because of course I still have family here that I love and want to see. But I don't want to say I felt guilty, but I felt kind of pulled a little bit. So, sorry, my memory card was full, so I have to edit these together. But speaking of my dad, it's really hard. It's really hard when someone dies. And, you know, I don't want to talk about it too much in this video because I do want to make a video just talking about losing a parent and the grief that I have felt and how I'm coping with that. But I'm not going to do it right now. As far as my eating disorder goes, with all of the craziness, I think around late January, early February, I was having some binging behaviors and hiding food, and definitely outside of my value system that I had established. And so I reached out to my treatment team that helped me change my life in the last 5 years. And so I started seeing my dietitian again. And we have, with my health insurance plan, there was a limit for dietitian visits with an eating disorder diagnosis. And in the state of Oregon, there was a mandate that happened. So there's no longer a visit limit for that. So I was able to start seeing her again with just my copay. And then my therapist, who I loved and really helped me to change my life, she moved in 2014. And so I had another therapist I was working with and did great. And her and I both decided I didn't really need any further treatment at that time. That was in around September. And through all the stress and craziness and the binging, I decided to reach out to my therapist that had moved. And so her and I have been doing phone sessions, which is not covered by insurance, but at this point it's worth it. And it's temporary. I mean, her and I decided it was temporary until I get established with someone in Portland. And so she's really been helping me. So between the two, and they are friends, I could have easily long story short, I was headed for a breakdown. And it's really scary when you've worked so hard and you start resorting to behaviors that can be dangerous. And I mean, dangerous to me. I'm not breaking the law. I'm not, blacking out or driving drunk or something. I mean, these are just eating behaviors that got me to over 500 pounds, and I don't want to be there again. So I needed to cut it right then. And so that's what I did, and it was amazing, and it's helped me tremendously. So I want to talk more about that. And I still get comments today on my YouTube channel saying, thanking me for being so honest and so transparent and not holding back, just sharing everything. And since I've gotten with Daniel and, in the last year and a half, I haven't wanted to share those things publicly because I feel like I have this whole new family that doesn't know about my history, and I don't think that they would judge me at all. It's just there's some shame around that, and it's scary now to put myself out there. And I think also because I've had so much success, it takes a strong level of vulnerability to admit, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm still struggling. I still struggle sometimes. I certainly don't struggle like I used to, but I still have struggles. So I'm working more on that. And I feel like at 500 pounds, I didn't have anything to lose. And so I could share whatever because it only really affected me in my eyes. But now, I have a life and a future. I didn't really feel like I had a future, as sad as that sounds. And so I'm more protective of my vulnerabilities and share them with Daniel versus the world. So maybe that's part of it too, that I have a best friend, husband, partner, life partner that I can share with, whereas I didn't have that before, so I turned to YouTube. That could be too. Anyway, I don't want this video to be too long, but I guess I'm trying to share my intention in that it's not on purpose that I've left YouTube, or with bad intentions or whatever. So I am hoping things will slow down and settle down once we get moved to Portland. That's my goal. That's one of the reasons that we wanted to get married now, and just settle into a domestic life and get back on a good routine and just slow things down. Even yesterday, I mean, I used to meal prep meticulously and grocery shop consistently, and I've really struggled with that. I've actually struggled with that since my dad died. There were a few times where I just walked into a grocery store like, I don't even know what to do, because meal planning and cooking were things that I enjoyed that suddenly were a burden, and I don't know why, you know. So, and I think with living apart from Daniel too, it's just easier to come home and have yogurt for dinner. Like, why make this big meal? Even though I did that before when I was single. So there's lots of changes, it's just different. So, I want to get back into a good routine of meal planning, meal prepping. With my dietitian, we made a goal of just adding a fruit or vegetable with every single meal, which sounds like, well, shouldn't I be doing that? Like, it just sounds so simple and so obvious, but I wasn't doing that. And so I've added that. That's helped me to feel a lot better and feel healthier, and given me some confidence back in my eating and my health of my life. So, yeah, again, it's rambly, but it's kind of where I'm at. And I guess, hobbies, I still watch YouTube. I go through phases like always. I mean, so currently I watch some makeup channels, and we have an Ulta store now, and so I've been shopping at Ulta a little bit, especially right before the wedding. I wanted some different makeup things and was trying new looks, and I've returned a few things. I appreciate Ulta's return policy. And Dan and I watched the American Crime Story series about the O.J. Simpson trial, and so I was watching things on YouTube kind of about the trial. And I was watching a documentary that someone obviously filmed the TV show, or so it was in the 90s, and so it had all the 90s commercials, and I got a kick out of that. I was just watching that this morning, and there were a lot of airline commercials. And if you think about it, before 9/11, I think a lot more people flew, and prices were more affordable than they are, or have been since then. So there were lots of airline commercials, and then lens crafters and eyeglass commercials. And maybe that was geared towards the time of night that this documentary was probably on. But yeah, I got a kick out of it. Anyway, so I'm going to leave it at that, and I truly plan to make more videos. Dan and I filmed a house tour of our empty house, so just have to edit that. We have our wedding video. We had 2 people filming, and we're waiting to get the professional pictures back from the photographer. So I kind of like the idea of either us editing or hiring an editor to kind of splice them all together and kind of make our wedding story. So we'll work on that once we get to Portland. And yeah, I have all sorts of video ideas that I want to do. I'm not even going to talk about them right now. I filmed a few videos talking about my braces, and then I don't think I ever uploaded them. So I have braces. Jeez, they're clear on the top and silver on the bottom. And I got them on in January. I really kind of struggled at first. It was very painful and caused some headaches and just your bones moving, and it hurts. I was really sensitive to it. Now it feels a lot better. The orthodontist had said he would take them off for the wedding, and so when we decided to do this wedding, I scheduled the appointment the day before to get them off, and only a few people actually noticed. And when they asked about it, I was like, oh, you know, I'm only supposed to have them on for a year, and who knows when this wedding will be, so I might as well get them off for the engagement party because I know we'll be taking pictures. And I just try to play it off, but I'm sure everybody I've talked to says that after the fact, it all makes sense. You know, things I was talking about, things I was doing. You know, when they would inquire about stuff, I would answer confidently, lying, you know, but so they kind of said it all makes sense. So I got them off and then got them back on a week later. They kept the back brackets on, which were almost worse because they didn't have wires or bands around them. So they really scraped my cheeks quite a lot, or I would bite down on them. So I you know, it sounds like, oh great, you had your braces off for a week, but it was still uncomfortable. So, but I'm thankful that I got beautiful pictures, even the ones that our friends and family have taken and posted on Facebook and did a little video of them are beautiful. And Dan looked amazing. He's adorable. And so I'm really happy. Okay, I'm really going now. So, got the tissue out because I was starting to tear up, but I'm okay now. I don't want to ruin this makeup. So anyway, thank you guys, and thank you for continuing to watch me, and more videos coming up soon.